Hello everyone, same day, new video. Today I will be giving you my spoilery kind of review slash description of my second favorite book series, Throne of Glass. Now, I haven't read all of the books. I skipped The Assassin's Blade, and I skipped Tower of Dawn because I didn't really care about Cale's story and what happens to him there. I mean, I kind of figured that he would, get his legs back after being paralyzed. Because, I mean, he's gotta fight in the war with everyone else, right? You're not just gonna make him useless. And he's going to, this place that's known for healing, drastic injuries. So you know it's gonna happen. And then he's gonna bring something back, like some army or something to help out. You just already know it. I didn't need to read a whole book about it. So I skipped those two, and I'm not emotionally ready to deal with Kingdom of Ash yet, and Rowan being miserable and looking for his mate right after finding out that she's his mate. And it's just... I'm not emotionally ready to deal with it, so I haven't read it yet, and it's been 6 months. I probably should. I hate conflict in these books. In the relationships. Not conflict. You can fight with each other, but, I hate when they're separated from each other. It just hurts. It hurts. I just want them to be together. I just want everything to be okay. I just want them to be able to be cute together and be in love and be happy without everyone trying to ruin it. And I'm not ready to deal with Aelin being tortured and Rowan literally searching the world for her. Anywho, to start this video off, we will talk about Throne of Glass. This book is amazing. Oh, by the way, has anyone else noticed that the Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows, this girl right here looks like, the art for this looks just like... Shit, I just had her name. Oh, she's a model. Super hot. I'm gonna look this shit up because it's gonna bother me. Cara Delevingne. Cara Delevingne. If they make a Throne of Glass TV series, or movie, hopefully TV series, because I think that would be better. You'd be able to fit more information in that. I think Cara Delevingne, because she's also got, the blue eyes with, a little gold ring around, her pupil. I think she would be the perfect Aelin. I think it... Dreamcast for Aelin, for me at least. Cara Delevingne. Anyway... Throne of Glass starts off with Dorian and Cale going to the salt mines of Envoyer to find Celaena Sardothien, or Adarlan's assassin as she's also known. She is in rough shape. She's been whipped and tortured and starved and forced to work in these mines for, I think, a year now, which is the longest anyone has ever survived there. It's not a good situation, and Cale's kind of a dick. When we first meet him, and he sees the scars on her back from where she's been whipped, the first thing he asks her is, what did you do? What did you do to earn those? And we later find out she didn't do anything to earn those. As soon as she got there, they, stripped her bra and shirt off and tied her to 2 posts and whipped her just to show her what life in Envoyer would be like. Real nice guys. Anywho, so they take her to compete in a competition. Yeah, okay, I said those words right. They take her to compete in a competition to become the king's assassin, basically. And Dorian chooses her specifically to kind of peeve off his dad a little. But he doesn't want his dad to know that it's her just yet, because otherwise his dad will be super pissed and, like, kill them both. So he's like, you're gonna pretend to be this girl, you're gonna pretend to be a thief who's just good at fighting. So you can't be your normal, like, badass, like, amazing self yet. You've gotta, like, just stay in the middle of the road, but then also win. Like, but nobody can know how good you really are. Anyway, so, like, a whole bunch of shit happens. They find out that some weird stuff is going on. Contestants keep dying and being, like, ripped to shreds, and and they're, like, I think their hearts are all missing. And Celaena starts looking into it and trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening. And she figures it out and kills the monster, and then that's killing everyone, and being controlled by one of the other contestants. And then the last trial or competition thing, she kills the guy who was controlling the thing, but he's super powerful because he's, like, powered by dark magic or something like that, and he almost kills her, but she ends up killing him barely, and is, like, she's, like, real injured, though. So at the end of this book, her, Chaol, and Dorian are all friends. Oh, she kind of dates Dorian a little bit in this book, and everyone's like, really? Or, well, Chaol, because Chaol's the only one who knows who she really is. He's like, you can't be doing this, you can't be dating her, she's Adarlan's assassin, like, what are you doing, Dorian? You're the crown prince of Adarlan, and you're fucking sleeping with Adarlan's assassin? But Dorian doesn't really care. He's like, I like her. I don't know what to tell you. So, that happens during the trials, and Chaol ends up eventually seeing what Dorian sees, and starts kind of liking her, but he's like, my best friend is dating her, so nothing can happen. But then at the end of this book, Celaena and Dorian break up because she's like, this is never gonna work. Like, I am now working for your father, like, this man that I hate more than anything. And, like, you're his son and the crown prince. Like, nothing is ever gonna come of this. Like, you are the crown prince. I'm just Adarlan's assassin. Like, there's no point in getting our hearts broken even more later down the line. So they break up, and that's where this book leaves off. Wow, I'm doing so much better in this video than I did describing quickly the Folk of Air series. I'm kind of proud of myself right now. Anywho, Crown of Midnight, Aelin and Chaol start dating. More freaky shit starts happening because it's all centered around the king. Because he also has that dark magic shit. Celaena starts going on her missions for the king, and in Throne of Glass she becomes friends with a princess from another kingdom, Nemia. And in this book, her and Nemia are still friends, but they're having fights, because Nemia's like, I want you to fight with me, I want you to fight for our world, I want you to help me take down Adarlan, and Celaena's like, no, like, I want to just live a comfortable life, I just want to be free for once in my life, because, as we find out later, when she was 7 years old, she was taken in by Oberyn Hamel after her entire family was slaughtered, and he basically forced her to become an assassin, and trained her entire life. She's never had a choice, she's never been free. Because basically once her training was complete, he handed her a bill and was like, here's the cost for all the weapons you used, all the weapons I had made for you, the suit I had made for you, all of the food I fed you, the rent for you living in my house. Like, and it's this obscene number that's supposed to make, like, you indebted to him, and now you can only work for him. So she's never been free, and she's still not free. She's still working off her debt now to the King of Adarlan. And she's like, I don't want to, like, join your war, Nemia. I love you. You're, like, my best friend, but I don't want anything to do with this war. I just want to do my job until the king grants me my freedom in, like, a year or whatever it is, or whatever the deal is. And so Nemia's like, fine, you're not gonna, like, become who you're meant to be, then I'm gonna have to force you into it. So Nemia orchestrates her own death, and in order to force Celaena into admitting who she truly is and becoming who she's always meant to be, and save the world, basically. So she orchestrates her own death, and in doing so, like, Chaol gets kidnapped to draw Celaena away from the castle so that she's not there to protect Nemia, and then she rescues Chaol, and he's a little freaked out, because he's like, my girlfriend just killed, like, 10 people, no problem, no remorse, like, and I just watched her do it. So he's a little freaked out, but he still, like, loves her and everything. And she has a conversation with, like, his kidnappers, and they find out that Nemia is about to die. And the reason they took Chaol is to, like, lure her away. And so she's freaked the fuck out. She runs. I think Chaol's first indication that she's not normal, like, normal human, like him, is that he's right behind her. Like, she takes off running out the building. He's right behind her. He grabs a horse from across the street and starts galloping after her. He's like 2 seconds behind her, and she is sprinting faster than a galloping horse. And so he's like, she shouldn't have made it back to the castle before I did. But she does. She climbs the wall and gets on the inside before he even gets to the gate, and is able to dismount, and she's inside the castle. She's booking it past. She runs into Dorian. Dorian's like, what the fuck is happening? And she's like, no time to talk, and keeps running. She gets to Nemia's room and finds Nemia just slaughtered. Brutally. Like, her intestines are all over the bed. Like, she's in pieces, basically. It is bad. And she is losing her shit. Like, she is losing her humanity. She is turning into the darkness within her and completely losing it. She starts, like, everyone starts trying to hold her back because she's trying to go over to Nemia, but Nemia is, her body is in a very rough shape, and so everyone's holding her back, and, she turns to Chaol, because Chaol's like, I'm so sorry, like, I heard that there had been a threat on Nemia's life, but I was just told to, like, increase security by, like, 2 guards by the king, and that everything would be fine. And so she turns on him, starts trying to kill him, slaps him across the face, and gouges, like, 3 or 4 lines into his cheek with her nails, and, like, declares that she will never forgive him, that it's all his fault, and she starts trying to kill him, and Dorian, using magic he didn't know he had, stops her hand right before she plunges, with his magic, stops her hand from plunging a dagger into Chaol's heart. She comes down enough to leave. Or no, she doesn't come down enough to leave. They, I think, inject her with something to, like, knock her out, and they take her down to the dungeon until she cools off. She's down there for a few days, with Chaol and Dorian visiting her. But she's out of it. She, like, refuses to eat, like, is either always sleeping or not sleeping at all. Like, she's just completely turned inward on herself and is in a bad place. So she's eventually let out, and she's still super depressed, still, like, having trouble getting out of bed in the morning, like, can't really deal with just being alive right now. And then something shakes her out of it. I think it's finding out. Oh, and then she ends up going after the guy who killed Nemia, because she knows exactly who it is, because he was a part of the competition to become the king's assassin. And he always bragged about how he would kill people, and it was exactly the way Nemia was torn apart. And so she goes and she kills him. Well, she tortures him for information first, and then she kills him. And and then she starts going after the people who were actually behind it, who, like, hired him to kill her. And she realizes Cale wasn't at fault, but what they had has been irreparably broken because of thinking that he's at fault. And because he also didn't do more to protect Nemia. Like, he knew that there was a threat on her life. He knew something could happen, and he, like, put 2 more guards on her. And, like, that's it. Or, no, he just put, like, a patrol on her hallway, and that's it. Like, he didn't even put 2 more guards on her to actually keep her safe. He just had them patrol the hallway every few hours. Or something. And so she finds out who really did it, and it turns out he's trying to, like, open a portal to another world or something like that, and he succeeds and lets a monster through, and she's gotta try and kill the monster. The guy almost gets away, but Cale, Dorian, Aelin, and Aelin's dog Fleetfoot are all, like, in this tunnel with the portal and the monster, trying to fight the monster off, trying to make sure it doesn't get out into the world, because that would be really bad. And, she's able to push it back enough into the portal, and then she follows it into the portal, and when she enters the portal, she becomes Fae. Oh. No, I think the monster might have dragged her dog Fleetfoot into the portal or something. Because Cale goes into the portal after the monster to save Fleetfoot, and then Aelin goes in to save both of them, and that's when she becomes Fae, and Cale sees that she's Fae for the first time and is freaked the fuck out, and is like, what the fuck is happening to you? And she just looks over to him and growls, like, get her out of here, something like that, to get Fleetfoot out. And he takes Fleetfoot, and they get out. She unleashes all of her magic that's just bottled up inside of her right now, and splits that world in half. And then she steps out of the portal, they close the portal, and she becomes human again. And they close the portal, and she goes, and she kills the guy who orchestrated Nemia's death. Well, Nemia orchestrated her death, but this guy didn't know that Nemia was actually orchestrating her death, and he thought he was the one orchestrating her death. So for trying to kill Nemia, even though he wasn't the one who actually orchestrated her death, she kills him. And Cale sees this and had just seen that she was actually also a Fae, and is like, he's like, you're a monster, basically. And they're completely broken up now. A healer comes and patches all of them up after the fight, and then Cale's like, I do still have feelings for you, even though I think you're a monster right now, so I'm gonna help you get out, and you're gonna go to Wenlin, across the sea, where all the Fae are, and a few humans are, and like, because we gotta get you away from the king. If he finds out what you really are, like, you're dead. So, she leaves, and when she leaves, she gives him a little clue as to who she really might be, and if he can figure it out, then he'll know her true identity. And then at the last few pages of the book, we see him go back to the castle, and he sees all of her, like, old history books and stuff about, like, the people who the king has killed, basically, which is basically everyone in Terrasen, and so he sees that, and the hint that she had given him was really, I think, her birthday, or something like that. And so he's, like, just casually flipping through one of the books, and he sees that Aelin Galathynius was born on the same day, and is described to have the same blue eyes with the gold ring around the pupil, and has the same blonde hair. And he's like, holy fuck, she's Aelin Galathynius! And now he feels scared because he's like, I've let Aelin Galathynius around the crown prince. I let her around the king. The king slaughtered her entire family. He's like, and I let her be around them. He's freaking the fuck out. But he doesn't tell anyone because he still cares about her. Anyway, Heir of Fire starts. Aelin is in Wenlin now. She is drinking herself into a stupor. Sunbathing on roofs and getting into bar fights and swindling people at cards, and Rowan is watching her. She's had this hawk following her around, and he's watching her for the queen that he's sworn to, Maeve, because she sensed when Aelin entered her kingdom, or whatever. And so he's been watching her to find out if she's, like, worthy of going to meet her aunt, Maeve. Eventually Maeve just, like, gives the order and is like, you know what, just fucking bring her here. So he does, and Maeve is like, Rowan's gonna train you to use your power. And Rowan's like, excuse me, you're gonna make me train that? Like, this stupid human? And Aelin's like, yeah, I don't really care about this alpha male douchebag right now. And I have no interest in training right now. I just want to drink myself to death. If you please just leave me alone. And Maeve's like, no, you're gonna train her, and you're going to be trained. So they start training together, and, they start getting closer, and they end up becoming friends. Back in Adarlan, Chaol has joined the Resistance because he realizes there's something wrong with the king. He hasn't told Dorian who Aelin really is, but Dorian figures it out on his own and is now questioning whether or not he can trust Aelin, because the last thing she said was, I'll come back for you, or Celaena. And so he's not quite sure if he can trust her, because now that he knows who she really is, he's like, did she mean that, like, we're friends, I'll come back for you, I'm not gonna leave you behind? Or did she mean it like, your father killed my entire family, you're next, bitch, I'm coming back for you? So he's like, I don't know if I can trust her or not. But, so Chaol's joined the Resistance, he found out who she really is, or Dorian found out who she really is, and Dorian starts dating the healer who healed them. Who healed them all after they fought off the monster, Sorsha. Anyway, so him and Sorsha are super cute, but I'm not, like, all about them being endgame or anything. It's not like, oh my god, yes. It's like, they're sweet, but I know you're not endgame, but you're cute. You're cute with him. Anywho, so, during the Resistance fighting and stuff, Chaol is, trying to also protect Dorian, so that no one finds out about his magic, so that the king doesn't find out about his magic, so that nobody else finds out about his magic, because having magic is a death sentence, basically. And, just, God, what even does happen? at that point in the book. I basically just remember all the Rowan and Aelin parts. And then the very basic Chaol and Dorian stuff. Let's see. Skip ahead a little bit, I guess, and I'll probably remember something that'll come back to me and I'll just jump back to it. Anyway, Sorsha dies. The king finds out that Dorian's dating her and that, like, Chaol's in the Resistance and stuff, and brings the three of them into the throne room and is about to test Chaol's loyalty and kills Sorsha because she's not good enough for the crown prince, or whatever the reasoning is. I don't know. Sorsha gets her head cut off. Dorian releases his magic because he is pissed about it. And Chaol's just standing there in shock. Oh, Aedion is there too. Forgot about Aedion. Aedion is also a part of the Resistance. He is Aelin's cousin. Her best friend. And they haven't seen each other since they were little kids because he thought that she was dead. Chaol tells him eventually that she's not dead, but doesn't tell her who she is, because he's still trying to protect her identity and who she is. And if anyone found out, then they'd be like, the fuck? And also, she's on a mission over in Wenland for the King of Adarlan. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna assassinate the royal family of Wenland. And then, like, you can invade safely and take it over, but she's not really doing that. That was just the cover story to get her out of Adarlan. So Chaol's still trying to protect her identity, so he doesn't actually tell Aedion who she is. Anyway, so Aedion and Chaol don't really get along, but they've agreed to be in the same Resistance and stuff and just kind of put their bullshit with each other aside. And Chaol's still having trouble dealing with his feelings about Aelin. I don't remember if it's before or after Dorian knows who she really is, but Chaol and Dorian have a conversation, and Dorian's basically like, you can't just love pieces of her. You either love all of her or you love none of her. You can't pick and choose the parts of her you want to love. And so, he's like, yeah, you know what, you're right, I've got to figure out what I'm gonna do. And, and then the whole Resistance stuff goes on. Aedion's also in the throne room. He's all chained up because they figured out that he's a part of the Resistance, and the king's pissed about that, so Aedion's gonna go into the cells to be executed publicly and extravagantly. And then Dorian is, I think, locked up in his room after Sorsha dies, and Chaol is on the run with the and in hiding. Well, not on the run. He stays in Adarlan, but he's in hiding with the Resistance now because he's lost his position because he sided with Dorian and Aedion, trying to help them. Yeah. And then Rowan and Aelin, like I said, they become friends. She trains in her magic. She becomes really good at it. She finally accepts that she finally learns how to control the transition between changing into human and changing into a fae. Because she can change at will, and never was able to control it before because she was like 7 years old. And then something made magic disappear from Adarlan, the 3 towers the king built. And so she never actually got the chance to learn. So now she's learned how to use her magic, and they're fighting off the, God, I don't remember what they are, the Dark Princes or something like that, the Demon Princes, they're about to have a war with them. And they do, and she holds them off while Rowan and all of his friends and everyone at the fortress that she made friends with while she was there, um, uh, while they all hold them off, or while they all fight the soldiers and stuff, she's holding off all the princes. Um, she starts losing the battle between her and the princes because there's like 6 of them and 1 of her, and they're demon princes and super powerful. So while she's the like goddess of the sun basically, and fire is her superpower basically, and fire's the only thing that can kill them. She's using all of her power basically to create a shield around the fortress so that everyone's safe, so the princes can't get in. Anyway, so Rowan, like, all of his friends show up, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go help Aelin now, and he sees that she's, like, on the ground, beaten down, like, she's about to die, and he's freaking the fuck out. He doesn't know why, because he thinks that he already had met his mate and that she died, and he's super sad about it still, but little does he know he was tricked by Maeve into thinking that Lyria was his mate, so that she could have Lyria killed, and then in order to break him so that she could control him, so that he was under her control when he met Aelin. His real mate. Anyway, so he's freaking the fuck out that she's, like, about to die, but his friends are holding him down and holding him back, and they won't let him go out there to help her because he'll die. And he's terrified and freaking the fuck out. But she finally accepts who she is, and that she's Aelin Galathynius, and that she will not be afraid anymore, and she stands up to them and takes away their power over her by accepting the fear within her and letting it go. And then Rowan runs out and gives her his magic because they're Karanem, which means basically they're magic soulmates. And then they're also mates, which is just cute. They're like double soulmates. Anyway, so he gives her his magic to channel into her own, and she uses it to kill all of them. One of them gets away, I think, and tells everyone, and tells the king what happened. Well, everyone kind of knows. News spread really fast. Everyone knows Aelin Galathynius is alive, and she's back and better than ever. Anyway, so they get summoned. Rowan and Aelin get summoned to Maeve's castle, and Maeve has Rowan whipped in front of Aelin because she wants something from Aelin, but Aelin won't give it to her. So she's like, I know that you and Rowan have gotten really close. And so she makes his friends hold him down and makes them whip him while Aelin watches. And so Aelin could have gotten anything from Maeve in exchange for what Maeve wants, because she also uses her magic to hold the entire city hostage. She sends her power out and into, like, the entire city, and, like, the fire isn't burning anyone yet, but everyone can see it. And she's like, and she bargains for Rowan's freedom and his life. Or in both of their lives. Rowan gets his freedom and no longer has to answer to her and is no longer blood sworn to her, and they both get to leave alive. Or her entire city burns and everyone with it. And then her and Rowan go and leave. They stay at an inn, and he gives her the tattoos on her back for her parents, her people, and Nemia. right? The three big scars, it's her parents, her people, and Nemia? Or is it Nemia and Sam, her people, and her parents? I don't remember. Anyway, so he gives her the tattoo, and then she finally starts grieving the loss of everyone that she has lost, and she sings the, like, songs of Terrasen to them that you do for people who have died, and she does everything she should have when her family died. Basically. Puts them to rest, essentially, with a funeral. And then she goes back to Adarlan as Celaena, and she's gonna go back to the king and be like, yeah, it's done, like, they're dead. Or whatever. And Rowan's like, I don't want you to go without me, but she's like, I need to go alone, I need to do this alone. Like, you're not gonna have your magic, you can either be stuck in Falcon form and follow me around, or you can be stuck in Fae form, but either way, you're gonna stick out. Well, as a Falcon, you can't really do much to, or Hawk. As a Hawk, you can't really do much to protect me, and as a Fae male, you're gonna be extremely noticeable. So she goes alone. She gets there, and the king's like, so it's done? She's like, yes, it's done. And then she joins the resistance with Chaol. Now, in this book, she's in the resistance with Chaol. She meets back up with Aedion, finally. Meets back up with him. He's still in prison, about to be executed. He's sick, he had gotten injured, and is letting it fester, hoping to die, because he also, even in prison, heard that Aelin Galathinius is alive. So that's why his execution is going to be so public, so extravagant, to lure her in and capture her. So, of course, Aelin is going to take the bait, but she's going to take the bait knowing that it's bait, and her and Aedion get away. But at the end of the last book, what happened with Dorian and Chaol, Dorian gets a collar put on him that puts a demon prince inside of him. So it's not Dorian anymore. Dorian's fighting to get out and take control again, but it's not really working. Anyway, so in this, Dorian tries to Darkling, I'm gonna call him Darkling Dorian, tries to stop them from leaving, and Aelin's like, you know what, I'm gonna put him out of his misery. But Chaol's friend Nezrin shoots an arrow at Aelin's sword to stop her, and then Chaol's really pissed because he's like, how dare you try and kill Dorian? I thought he was your friend. And she's like, he is my friend, but he's not in there anymore. Like, I'm not gonna let him, and even if he is, I'm not gonna let him suffer like this. Anyway, so it becomes a big thing, and everyone's super pissed. Aedion is recovering, and Aelin tells him everything that happened, and he tells her everything that happened, and then she tells him about Rowan, and he is just flabbergasted that Aelin just talks about Prince Rowan like he's her best friend, because, well, he is kind of her best friend. And, so they have a cute little reunion and stuff. They continue on with the resistance and everything, and Rowan shows up, in Adarlan because, what is his name? Lorcan. Because Lorcan, was sent after Aelin. Or because Lorcan is, like, coming after Aelin. So he boarded a ship and came to Adarlan, even though it's dangerous for him as a Fae, and he's here to protect her from Lorcan. Anyway, Lorcan does find them, and it's not a good thing. And I mean, she does get the jump on him at one point, and has a knife to his dick, and he ends up having to let her go. But then he gets back at her and puts a knife at her throat, and Rowan's just standing there helpless, and he's freaking out. He's like, I don't know what to do. I can't get to her fast enough, like, before he slits her throat, and, like, he's freaking the fuck out. And she's super pissed and a little bit scared. And Rowan's just like, I need to protect her. This, like, no. But then Lorcan ends up letting her go, and they don't really see him again. Because I think he proposes them working together, but they're like, we don't fucking believe you, dude. No, like, you're blood-sworn to me. Would you really? No. Okay, so then, Rowan's all sad boy, because he's like, I thought I was gonna lose you. And she's like, well, you didn't lose you, and why is it such a big deal? And he can't admit that he has feelings for her yet, because he feels so guilty. It feels like he's betraying his mate, Lyria, who's dead, by just by having feelings for Aelin. And then they have the whole thing with Oberyn. Is it Oberyn? I always thought it was Oberyn. I don't know. I'm just gonna call him Oberyn. Oberyn Hamel, Lord of Assassins, King of Assassins. I don't know what he calls himself. It's pretentious. He's a douchebag. Lysandra kills him. Yay! I should probably go into more detail than that. He gets creepy with Aelin, but one of my favorite parts is when they have, like, the dinner party with him, and he's, like, trying to get creepy with Aelin and trying to show everyone, like, ooh, we've got this special bond. Like, I'll make her mine eventually. But she's just straight up ignoring him the entire time in favor of, like, staring at, talking to, like, having eye conversations with, or, like, playing footsies with Rowan the entire time. And it just pisses Oberyn off so much more, and I fucking love it. It just makes me so happy. But then he tries to take over her mind using one of the rings and, like, control her or whatever. She has a moment with Rowan on the roof after that, but, and obviously he wants her to touch him like that, but he just feels guilty about Lyria, and he kind of snaps and says, don't touch me like that. When she's, like, being all cute and, like, putting a hand on his face. And then she gets super, and then that night, Lysandra kills Oberyn. The next day, Aelin goes to Oberyn's place as Celaena, for the murder investigation. Everyone's like, we think you did this, and she's like, how do I know any of you didn't do this, and are trying to frame me. And she keeps pulling away from Rowan. He, like, sees that she's super uncomfortable or super pissed about something, and, he, like, tries to reach for her to comfort her, and she just steps out of reach and is like, don't fucking touch me like that. Like, you said it first. And so, like, he's all upset about it, and I think at one point he has a conversation with Aedion about it, because he's like, she won't let me anywhere near her now, like, I just want to make her feel better. And Aedion's like, well, yeah, like, you told her not to touch her like that, and it's obvious you want her to touch you like that. Everyone can see it. Anyway, so, they don't really solve the murder. Lysandra gets kidnapped, and is going to have a demon prince put inside of her by the king. and because of her magical powers, magic has been released back into the world. But because of her magical powers, which Oberyn knew about, his last fuck you to everyone, including Lysandra, was to, like, out what she is, a shapeshifter. So she gets abducted and taken away to have one of the demon princes put inside of her, and Aelin, Rowan, Aedion, and Chaol and Nesryn all go to save her. They do. They see Dorian there, and Chaol realizes that Dorian really is gone, even though, like, because he's seeing Manon, and, like, the prince is afraid of Manon, like, it's actually Dorian having this conversation with Manon the entire time, but he's like, Dorian's gone, I've got to kill him, so Chaol fucks everything up by trying to kill Dorian, and gets captured by the 13 witches. I've been leaving them out because I don't really care for that part of the story. Absolutely love Manon, don't really care for her half of the story. I pretty much wanted to skip it, but just wouldn't let myself the entire time I read the book, because I was just like, I just want to read about Rowan and Aelin. Anyway, so Chaol gets himself captured like a dumbass, and, and because of that, Rowan gets shot with an arrow in their escape. And then, that's when Aelin figures out that they're mates, and, she is pissed that you shot her mate and almost killed him. Like, if it had been an inch lower, he would have died from it. But, like, she figured out they were mates because he jumped in front of the arrow to save her, and then, like, the feelings and reaction she had from, like, just seeing him in pain and injured, that's how she figured it out. Anyway, so she fights Manon, and she's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch. You crossed the wrong girl, and you went after the wrong person. And you hurt the wrong person. So, they get into a fight, Manon almost dies, but Aelin is like, you know what, if it was me that was killing you, I'd be fine with it, but because, like, you're about to die in this other situation, I'm gonna save you. So she saves her, and in return, Manon alerts everyone that, Dorian is still alive and fighting inside of, what's it called? Inside of his body. What else happens? They free magic, or had already freed magic. Oh yeah, they go to the castle to try and save Dorian. They come up with a plan. Aedion and Rowan are gonna free magic, and Aelin and Chaol are gonna go save Dorian. Aelin and Chaol are gonna go save Dorian. Yay, I got it. So they go save Dorian. It's bad though. Aelin almost dies. Rowan felt her almost die. He felt her get stabbed, like he got stabbed. As if he got stabbed, so I don't know how that wasn't a hint that maybe she is your mate, and Maeve lied to you? Anyway, so, she gets really injured, Chaol's almost dead, the king beat him down with magic, but Aelin had put, like a protective charm thing, the Eye of Elena necklace in Chaol's pocket, to protect him at least a little bit from the dark magic, which is why he's only paralyzed and not dead. Wait, right? Does that happen at the end of this book? Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So which is why he's only paralyzed and not dead. He um Aelin ends up being able to save Dorian. She's able to break the collar off his neck, and Dorian comes out, and then they're able to save each other, and Dorian kills the king and destroys the glass castle, and the, like, giant wave of glass, broken glass, is about to flood Outerland and kill everyone until Aelin melts it into a giant wave of hope surrounding the castle, and then she declares that she was the one that killed the king, or that she is Aelin Galathinius, and that she killed the king of Outerland, so that everyone will accept Dorian on the throne, because otherwise they would be like, wait, should we really have you on the throne? Are you, like, mentally stable enough for it, since, you know, you just killed your dad? So she takes the blame for it, and then they say their goodbyes, and Rowan and Aelin go on their way. Chaol goes on his way with Nesryn to go get healed, and Dorian stays behind to run his kingdom. The beginning of this book, Dorian's kingdom is under attack. I don't think that's at the beginning of this book. The events of this book are going to be all over the place. Dorian's kingdom is under attack. Rowan goes and saves him. Rowan, Aelin, Lysandra, Evangeline. Rowan, Aelin, Lysandra, Evangeline, Adian. I think that's all of them. They all are on a quest to get to Terrasen so that Aelin can reclaim her throne. Only the lords of douchebags are assholes and are like, you're too dangerous to have on the throne, you're unpredictable, you were an assassin, we've been here the whole time, like, protecting Terrasen, while you were a slave to, like, the Lord of Assassins and training to be assassin. Like, she was never free, bitch. She was a slave her whole life. It just pisses me off that I can't. Anyway, so she's like, I need to get them an army, or she's like, I need to get an army so that I can not only defeat the King of Outerland, or the old King of Outerland's army, and destroy Erwin, the actual big bad, who was just controlling the King of Outerland. She's like, I need to, like, get an army for that, because I'm not gonna leave these bitches out in the cold like they're doing with me. Anyway, so she starts building this army. Dorian is under attack, and Rowan goes and saves him. They meet back up in Pirate Cove, and then that's when they meet up with Fenrez and... not Vaughn. Vaughn's just MIA for everything while he's looking for Lorcan. Lorcan is with Elide, although I've always just called her Eldie, even though that's not her name. Lorcan is with Elide. They're doing their own thing, trying to get to Aelin. Gavriel! It's Gavriel and Fenrez. And he wants to get to know his son Adian. Gavriel does, but Adian's like, I'm not ready to get to know you yet. And so Aelin tells him that, and he's like, you can't keep me away from my son. She's like, I'm not keeping you away from anyone. He doesn't want to know you right now. And yes, I will stop you from trying to get near him until he's ready. But, like, I want you two to have a relationship. I'm fine if you do, but I'm also fine if you don't. It's whatever he wants. Anyway, so they get to the pirate place. Celaena doesn't have a good relationship with him, and it's a whole thing. Everyone keeps telling Aelin that she needs to marry someone with money. Not with money. Everyone's telling her she needs to marry a prince. So basically, they're telling her to marry one of her cousins from Wendlyn. Or Dorian. Well, Dorian doesn't have an army anymore. Because, his kingdom was overtaken by the witches. Manon saved him, though, because she's got a little thing for him. Like, everyone keeps telling her she needs to marry someone for either their money or their armies. And she's like, I'm in love with Rowan. I'm not marrying anyone but Rowan. No, 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 no. But then, like, Rowan is getting upset about this because he's like, I mean, they're right. Like, you need armies. I can't give that to you. Like, I'm a prince, but, like, Maeve took all my money when I abandoned her to, like, support you. And, like, I've got no armies, like, because I chose to be sworn to Maeve instead of, like, take my rightful place in my family or whatever. So he's like, I can't give you anything, and she's like, you give me plenty, like, I don't need the armies. I'm gonna get the armies, no matter what it takes. I will get armies, I will, like, but I'm not marrying anyone else. Anyway, so that's super cute. They have some fights with the demon princes or whatever, and Aelin, the goddess Diana, turns out to be a raging bitch and tries to kill everyone, but Rowan stops her. Rowan stops her because Aelin is still in there and is able to take control at the last second and not shoot Rowan through the chest with all of the fire magic that she has. Anywho, so that all happens. She gets her army from Rolf, the pirate lord that they've all been talking to. And yeah, and then after that, what does happen after that? Oh, after that, they're looking for the pieces of, I don't even remember, they're looking for the pieces of something, and they go find it in, Eowyn? Yeah, they go find it, or they go find it there. Only Erwin sent a demon army. Aelin destroys it, and they find out that the thing is a mirror, that they thought they were looking for something else, like a key or something, I don't know. But but they get a mirror. Anyway, Aelin kills all of Erwin's little minions. They meet up with Lorcan and Elide, and they all are going to go on an adventure together. They go on this adventure, whatever. They all board the boat. Aelin secretly marries Rowan, and they meet up with all of Rowan's family, because Maeve is using them, all of his brothers, or all of his cousins, to try and, like, oh, you're not gonna really fight against them, right? You don't want to kill your own family. But so, they, like, they see that, like, that army is there, and that they're with Maeve, and that Maeve is somewhere, nearby, and so, and they know they're not gonna win this fight. So Rowan starts going around, talking to all of his cousins, telling them the story of him and Aelin, and trying to bring them onto his side. It works. They're all like, we'll think about it, we'll think about it, we'll think about it. But then he marks all the ships so that they're not destroyed, just in case. And then at the last second, they all choose to help, because they're like, oh, my cousin's finally happy again. In the meantime, Aelin and Manon are inside the mirror, trying to find this piece of whatever it was. And they find the information they need, they find the piece. It's the little slivers of the gate! That's what it is. And they get it, and now they've got, like, all 3 or 2 out of the 3 or something, and they get spit out on the beach nearby, but too far away. Turns out that Maeve is there, and she's got a lead hostage, and she calls Fenrez, Gavriel, and Lorcan over to her. They all show up. Lorcan, who is in love with Elide, has to now hold her hostage against Aelin. And then Gavriel and Fenrez are being forced to watch all of this happen. It's not a good situation, although Aelin does slyly sneak the keys into Manon's pocket while she's distracting Maeve. So then while Maeve thinks that she's about to get the keys, she's actually not. She releases Lorcan and Gavriel from their bonds to her, like from their oath to her, because she knows it'll break them the most, because Lorcan is, like, in love with her, and Gavriel is all about honor, so they're both dishonorably, like, have their oaths to her broken dishonorably, unlike Rowan, who was released honorably from his oath. So they're like broken and just sitting there, and Fenrez, who has always hated the bond and only took it to protect his little brother, or to protect his twin brother, is like, hey, me next, and she's like, no, a bigger punishment for you is to make you stay bloodsworn to me, and he's like, fuck. Anyway, so she starts whipping Aelin really badly, and Rowan is trying to get to her, but he used all of his magic up, saving their army and their navy and all the ships and everything, and he's trying to get over there, and him and Dorian both have used up all their magic. They're trying to get over there, and they finally get there, but Maeve has put Aelin into an iron box, half naked, and brutalized horribly by Karen. I like that his name sounds like Karen. Just think it's really funny. Anyway, and Rowan gets there, and he's like, sees all the blood on the beach, sees her shirt, sees her bra, sees, like, the whole scene. Everyone just, like, Gavriel and Lorcan just kind of knelt down in the sand, shell-shocked by everything that just happened. Elide sobbing onto Manon's shoulder, and Manon just trying to keep it together because she can't let anyone know that she's the one with the keys yet, in case Maeve is still nearby. Like, they saw the ship disappear, but it could have just gone invisible, and she doesn't want to take any chances. And then, Rowan walks up and is, like, freaking out on Lorcan, like, grabs him by the throat and, like, puts a knife to his throat and is like, where is Aelin? Where is my wife? And they're like, your wife? Like, what? And he's like, yes, we got secretly married last night. And Lorcan's just like, what the fuck have I done? And, the whole thing's just really bad, and Elide tells Rowan everything that happened. He tells her the message from Aelin, and he also tells her that Maeve revealed that Aelin and Rowan are actually mates, and that she tricked Rowan into his senses into thinking that Lyria was his mate to break him. And so now he's raging even more because not only is his wife gone, but she is his mate also, and he didn't even, he knew, but he wouldn't let himself, accept it because he thought it would be a betrayal to Lyria if he did. But then he finally accepts it. Him, Elide, Lorcan, and I think that's all go on a quest to find Aelin and Fenrez, because Fenrez was taken hostage with Aelin. And then that's what I know about. I know some stuff from Kingdom of Ash, but I'm not going to spoil things for you if you haven't read it. Or if you have, talk about it like I know what I'm talking about, because I haven't read it. Except for, a few little tidbits here and there. Anyway, sorry for such a long video. This is a long series and a lot of shit happens in it. I hope you guys liked it. If you want or if you did like it, if you did like it, then please like the video. If you like any of my, if you want to watch any of my other videos, then, please subscribe. Well, I guess you can watch the other videos even if you don't subscribe. Anyway, please subscribe. It helps. And I don't really have much else to say, except leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see next. Thank you for watching. Bye. Have a great day. Forgot to say that. Have a great day. Bye.